Behind the glass.
Gloves.
Gloves.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps with BehindTheGloves.com, and I am here at the Terminal 23 Center, which is a pretty cool little area, with Francisco Santana, who is going to be facing Sadam Ali this Saturday on the Vladimir Klitschko versus Jennings undercard. First of all, that's such a big honor to be able to be on a Vladimir Klitschko undercard. How does that feel?
Like I said yesterday at the press conference, I can't explain it. It's inexplicable, that feeling. To be, especially at Madison Square Garden, that's the mecca of boxing. Like, I don't get tired of saying that. You know, and then fighting on HBO on a championship, heavyweight championship of the world, it's pretty neat. Like last night, I was in my room and I was watching they have a channel. It's channel 29. It's all the Madison Square Garden. They were showing all the great fights. I was watching the first fight of Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield at the Garden. I'm like, dude, Saturday I'm gonna be in that same arena. It's pretty cool. So I like.
Have you ever fought at the Madison Square Garden before?
No, this is the first time. So
Thing for you right now.
yes, definitely. I'm soaking it all in. But like I said before, I come fight night, the ring's a ring, and no matter where it's at, I'm comfortable in there. So
Fighting Sadam Ali, he's undefeated. But however, you've also, despite the fact that you have lost, I always see it as it's not a matter of losing, it's a matter of how you lost and who you lost to. And you've proven to be a very tough fighter and someone who's actually pulled off the upsets and, you know, beat the guy that everyone expected to win. You know, being that type of fighter, do you ever go into these fights feeling that sort of pressure that you have to outperform the other person?
no, not at all. I feel that when I was early in my career, I used to put that pressure on me. And look what happened. You can't pull that trigger. You got to be relaxed. You got to be confident with yourself. You don't know, you can never predict the outcome, but you're in control of how the outcome's gonna come out. So you got to be, I just got to listen to my coach, make those adjustments, and trust in myself and trust in my abilities. And the only way I can trust by that is by being comfortable with myself and not adding that extra pressure. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and it's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes in the fight wins usually. So I'm usually listening to my coach Haas, and I'm basically whatever he says I do. I'm like a robot.
So did you get the opportunity to study tape of Sadam Ali? And if you have, what sort of weaknesses did you see in him?
No, I mean, of course. I mean, I've always known who he was. I mean, like I said before, growing up in the amateurs, I wasn't a good amateur fighter. I had a lot of amateur fights, but I would make it to the national tournament once in a while, but I would lose in the first fight. And then he would win it all. So I was almost like a spectator. I was like a fan, just sitting down watching him. So I've known of him for many years. He didn't know of me, again, because I was always that quiet guy. You know, who knows that guy? That guy's a dork that loses all the time. But
Do you admire him as a boxer?
yeah, I mean, I admire
his.
Yeah, and I admire anybody that steps in there, not just him. Anybody that steps in there, it takes a lot of guts, and a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of just heart to be able to step in there, and it's so barbaric sometimes. But you know what? It's also a very neat sport, and but I admire him and everybody. But once we're in the ring, we turn that switch on, and we're different people.
When this fight, or when Sadam Ali's name got mentioned to you know make this fight, what was your initial reaction? I mean, was this something that you guys had already pre-planned, like we want Sadam Ali, or was it something that was approached to you guys and you considered that?
No, I got a call from HBO asking me if we'd fight Sadam Ali. Took me about a heartbeat to say yes. Golden Boy called, same thing, a heartbeat to say yes. I called Haas, the trainer, and said we have an opportunity to fight Madison Square Garden, HBO, against Sadam Ali. He said yes. I said, well, can you check with Santana to make sure he's okay? He's the one getting in the ring. He says, I will, but I'm telling you the answer is yes. And maybe 10 minutes later, they called me and said yes, and after that was just a negotiation.
So I understand that he is your fighter. So, of course, every promoter sort of hypes up their fighter. But what would you say about him that makes him so uniquely special? Something that you can definitely say you admire about him.
Well, this will probably shock you. It has nothing to do with him in the ring. I really like him as a person outside the ring. He's special. I did a press conference with Golovkin and Giel in California, and he drove 2 hours just to come see me. And most people probably would think it didn't mean anything, or I forgot about it in the hype of the Golovkin fight or whatever. But it meant a lot to me that he would take the time to come see me. And he's really a special kid. I know this sounds crazy. I want him to win for him, not for me, but for himself and his family. I've had world champions. I've been in the big stage and whatever. But he's really a special, special kid. And if ever there was an opportunity to show who he is inside the ring, that'll be Saturday night. But I'm telling you, outside the ring, I don't know there's many like him.
Why boxing? I like to ask that question because a lot of times people say, well, boxing sort of found me, or I was a troubled kid. What's your story? Why boxing?
I used to get bullied as a kid growing up. I had a speech impediment. I used to stutter a lot. I had stutter problems and nervous twitches, so which that led kids to pick on me.
I still do have a stuttering problem too. That I find myself sort of failing to have the words come out, and it's nerve-wracking doing this too, especially during interviews when you feel like you know what you need to say and it can't get it out. Yeah, I totally understand that.
Don't worry, you won't be.
Yeah, but so quick story though. My best friend, he was my best man at my wedding. He's the one that helped me with my speech impediment, and thanks to him, I was able to. I feel comfortable now. I get nervous, but I know how to control those nerves. I'm sure you do too as well. But that's what led me to boxing, just to kind of learn how to defend myself. My dad was always a big boxing fan as well, so I figured, oh well, he's a boxing fan, and I need to learn how to defend myself, so why not? And
you think bullied as in you were being beat up in school?
Being beat up, being just physically and verbally. So I was always like, oh, the cootie boy. When I was in kindergarten and all that. So, but I went with it. I didn't like it at first. I was like, oh man, I don't like it. But I was like, but I know I have to learn how to defend myself. And then boxing just gave me the confidence. It gave me confidence. It made me the person that I am today, and I just stuck with it, continued with it, and I learned to love it. And now it's just part of my life. And 20 years later, I'm still doing it.
Look, I'm great to meet you, first of all. I think this is the first time I've met the both of you. So I wish you guys nothing but the best come Saturday night. It's also with your other client, Brian Jennings. And do you have a Twitter account that you want to give a shout out for the fight fans?
Yeah, you can follow me at Chia Santana on my Twitter. Instagram is the same, at Chia Santana, and Francisco Santana on my Facebook. So.
Well, thank you so much. Bye, fight fans. Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this little icon right here, or else